Payasos y Pendejadas Podcast.
Diamond David De Leon, Navarrete Valdez this weekend. You know I'm a big Navarrete fan. This is going to be an exciting fight.
Absolutely right, Mark. I'm pretty excited to see it. You've got two styles that I think mesh really well. You have Navarrete, who is a pretty big fighter for his division. He's very lanky, has long arms, but he's really active and awkward. He throws punches from weird angles, and he does things the way you're not supposed to do. He kind of breaks a lot of the rules in boxing, but it works for him. He also has pretty heavy hands. He's been stopping fighters from 122 on his way to 126 and now at 130. He had his 130-pound debut recently. He didn't look too great, but he ended up beating a pretty decent fighter in Liam Wilson. Now, on the contrast to Navarrete style, you have Oscar Valdez, who's a counterpuncher. All counterpunchers love to wait for their opponents to make mistakes so they can capitalize on them. That's what Valdez does. And like most counterpunchers, Valdez doesn't throw a lot of punches. He also has a really good left hook, which is a gift and a curse because he likes to depend on the left hook a little too much. He doesn't throw as many jabs. He doesn't work behind the jab a lot, doesn't use his right hand enough. He's constantly just trying to set up the left hook. I think this is going to be a really great fight because the two fighters' styles mesh very well, and I'm pretty excited to see it.
So, David, tell us who is going to win and why is the other person going to be able to dominate with their style?
Well, Mark, I think there's two ways this fight can really play out. Navarrete tends to struggle early in fights, and then he turns it up at the end of the fight, and he really gets active and he wears his opponents down. That's what he's been doing lately at the higher weights. Valdez, on the other hand, is very sharp early on in the fights, and then he tends to fade later on in fights. I think Valdez catches Navarrete because one thing that Navarrete loves to do is throw this lead left uppercut. And he tends to lunge forward. His chin is up in the air. And Valdez is going to see that. I'm sure Valdez is already planning for it, and he's got a left hook ready to counter that lead uppercut. And I just think Navarrete is way too open when he throws his offense. Valdez is going to find holes, KO around the 6th or 7th round.
Okay, yeah, Navarrete Valdez, I think you're right on the money. Navarrete started off really slow. He's awkward. You know, he leaves himself open when he throws punches. A lot of that happens very early because he's not warmed up. He's not going in full offensive mode. Against Wilson, you're right. He got caught making a mistake early with a left hook. Right before that, he fought Baez. He looked pretty bad against Baez. Now, we say he looked bad. He ended up knocking both of these opponents out. But we're realizing as he's going up, he's still knocking down fighters. And he's still knocking out, but he's not looking great doing it. His mistakes are showing. Valdez is the type of fighter that can expose those mistakes early. Like you said, I think that's exactly the way it's going to go. Valdez is going to catch him early and make him pay for his slow starting, awkward style of throwing punches and leaving himself open. Navarrete is going to have to withstand that early barrage, which I think he can, and then he'll fight on and knock him out using his feints, his signature punches, the left hook. But he's really good at using that feint. You know, it's kind of like Eric Morales-esque. He would throw the lead hook with the over, you know, and he's great at that. He's really good. He always lands it. Everybody knows it's coming. He still figures out a way to do it because he throws so awkward, and those feints get everybody because you never know where this guy's punches are coming from anyway. Late, the feints are going to be the key, and Navarrete is going to stop him about the 7th or 8th round.
Don't forget to check out the preliminary fights. That'll be on ESPN Plus. Starts around 6:15. The main card will start at 9 o'clock, and that can be found on ESPN. Folks, let us know what you think. Who do you got for this weekend's fights? And Mark, hit them with that three-piece.
Navarrete's three-piece, leading with the left. Bam, bam, bam.
Ooh, that chin, boy, sticking all the way out.
Yeah.
Going down. All right, folks, we'll see y'all later.
We'll see you.